I know this is going to sound like one of those stories. I was standing at gate 47B, JFK, Tuesday morning, 6:47 a.m., and the place was packed. That was the first thing I noticed, how loud it was. Babies crying, businessmen on speakerphone, a kid kicking the back of a chair. I was holding my coffee, the one from that Starbucks cart near the escalator, and my husband kissed me on the cheek and said, "I'll see you in Paris." Then he turned and walked toward the first-class boarding lane. He didn't look back. He had on his good coat, the charcoal cashmere, and he just walked like it was nothing. Like he was a man with a ticket. And I was the wife waving from economy. I watched him hand his boarding pass to the agent. I watched her smile at him. I didn't move for maybe 12 seconds. I just stood there, holding my coffee, listening to the gate announcement about overhead bin space. And then I pulled my phone out of my pocket and I tapped the screen. I had the email open already. I don't know why I had it open, maybe I knew I'd need it fast. I walked up to the agent and I said, "Excuse me." She looked at me. I turned my phone around and showed her the screen. His email. The booking confirmation for 2 seats to Paris, business class, not first, but it didn't matter, with his assistant's name right next to his. And the credit card confirmation, the last 4 digits of our joint account card. The one I put grocery money on. The agent looked at the phone. Then she looked at me. Then she looked at the line of people waiting behind me. I said, "I'm his wife." She opened her mouth. I didn't wait. I handed her my phone and said, I need you to take that seat. The one he's in. I need you to put it on hold. I don't care how." She took it. I think she was scared of me. I walked away before she could say anything. I boarded economy alone. And I sat in 34B, middle seat, between a man who smelled like onion rings and a woman knitting something that looked like a scarf. I buckled my seatbelt and I watched the door. They called final boarding. They closed the door. And then they opened it again. He walked on last. He had his carry-on, the leather one I bought him for Christmas. He looked confused. He walked down the aisle, past first class, past business, past premium economy, past me, and he kept walking until he got to row 30-something and he realized his seat was occupied by someone else. Some guy with headphones. And then he looked around. And then he saw me. I was already pulling up the airdrop on my phone. The flight attendant asked him to move to the jump seat near the galley while they sorted it out. He tried to argue. He used the tone he uses on the phone with Comcast. That tone. And the flight attendant told him to please wait. So he waited. Right there, in the galley. 10 feet from me. On his phone. I watched him text someone. I watched his thumbs move. I had already sent the screenshot to every phone in the first-class lounge. I didn't know who all of them were. But I knew what I did. I took a photo of the email. I cropped it so the dates and the names and the card number were all visible. I hit airdrop. I didn't even look at the names, just everyone. I counted 6 confirms before I left. On the plane, he was still standing there, scrolling. Trying to figure out what happened. I leaned back in my seat. The onion ring man was snoring. The woman with the scarf was looking at me. She had one of those looks. The kind that says, "I know. I know how this sounds. I know it sounds like something from a movie. But it's not. It's just what happened. Here is what happened before that. His name is Michael. We have been married for 11 years. 11 years is a specific number because it's not the Big 10 and it's not the 15 where people start doing commitment ceremonies again. 11 is the awkward one. The one where you have stopped talking about the wedding and you have started talking about the water heater. I was 37 when we got married and he was 41. That made me 48 now and him 52. He runs a real estate development firm. Not the kind that builds skyscrapers, the kind that buys old buildings in neighborhoods that are about to change and turns them into condos with exposed brick and stainless steel appliances. He calls it placemaking. I call it what it is, but I never said that out loud until last week. He has an office in Midtown with a view of the river and an assistant who has been with him for 3 years. Her name is Diana. She is 34. She wears pencil skirts and carries a leather portfolio, and she always knows exactly what he needs before he asks for it. I was a graphic designer before I stopped. I did book covers and album art and the occasional magazine spread. I was not famous, but I was working. I had a client list. I had an Etsy store for a while that actually made money. Then Michael got the big deal, the one with the old textile mill in Brooklyn, and I stopped taking new projects because someone had to manage the house and the dinners and the phone calls from contractors. That was a choice. I made it. I do not blame him for that. But I think about it sometimes. The way I used to sit at my desk with my Wacom tablet and a cup of tea and disappear into something that had nothing to do with him. We have no children. We tried. It did not work. That is a closed subject. Michael wanted to adopt and I wanted to keep trying and we did neither. We just stopped talking about it and the silence became a piece of furniture in the living room. The kind you trip over in the dark. I found the email on Monday night. That was the night before the flight. I was in the kitchen, cleaning up after dinner and his laptop was open on the counter. He had left it there while he took a call in the other room. He does that, leaves things open. He thinks I do not look. He thinks I trust him. I did trust him, is the thing. I trusted him so completely that I did not even know what I was looking at when I first saw it. It was a confirmation from Air France. 2 tickets. Paris. Departure Tuesday morning, return Sunday evening. His name and Diana's name. The total came to $4,327. It was charged to our joint visa. The one with the miles. The one we used for everything because he said we should consolidate. I read it 3 times. I kept expecting the names to change. They did not. He came back into the kitchen and I was already scrolling to a different tab. I do not know how I did that. My hands just moved. I closed the Air France window and opened a recipe for chicken marsala and I asked him how his call went. He said fine. He said we should go to bed early because he had an early flight. I said, where are you going? He said, Chicago. Just a quick overnight. Meeting with investors. I said okay. I said I would make sure the coffee was set for him. I went to bed and I lay there for 2 hours while he snored next to me. I was not crying. I was not angry. I was just calculating. That is the word. I was calculating. I got up at 3 in the morning and I went back to his laptop. I found the email again. I took a screenshot. Then I opened his sent folder and I looked for anything else. There was a chain. 2 months of it. Nothing explicit, just scheduling, logistics, a few lines about how she had found a great restaurant near the Marais. The kind of thing that could be work. Except for the one from Friday. The one where he wrote, "Can't wait to see you there." And she replied with a heart emoji. Just a heart. No words. That was enough. I did not confront him. I did not scream. I did not even wake him up. I went back to bed and I lay there until the alarm went off and then I made coffee and I packed my own bag. Not a big one. Just a carry-on. I packed what I would need for a week in Paris because I did not know what I was going to do yet, but I knew I was going. He asked me why I was dressed at 6 in the morning. I said I was going to the airport with him. I said I wanted to see him off and get breakfast at the terminal because I was craving one of those cinnamon rolls from the place near the food court. He looked at me for a second. I could see him deciding whether to argue. He did not. He just shrugged and said, okay, and handed me my coat. That was the first moment I felt it. That strange power shift. The way he did not ask questions because he did not think he had to. The way he assumed I was still the woman who would wave goodbye and go back to the house and wait for him to come home. I got in the car with him. I let him drive. I let him talk about the investors in Chicago. I let him tell me all about the project and the zoning approvals and the financing structure. I listened to every word and I thought about the email and the heart emoji and the $4,327. When we got to the airport, he parked in the short-term lot. He took my bag out of the trunk and he did not ask why I brought one. I think he thought I was just carrying it for him. I let him think that. We walked to the check-in counter together. He handed the agent his ID. I handed mine. He looked at me then. He opened his mouth, but the agent was already typing and the moment passed. I said, I'm coming with you. He said, what? I said, I'm coming with you. To Chicago. Surprise. I did not mention Paris. I wanted to see what he would do. He turned white. Not pale, white. That specific shade of gray-white that happens when blood leaves a face fast. He said, that's not, I have meetings. I'll be working the whole time. I said, that's fine. I'll shop. I'll read. I'll sit in the hotel lobby and drink coffee and wait for you to finish. He said, Helen, this is not a good time. I said, when is a good time? The agent was waiting. The line was growing behind us. He did not answer. He just turned and walked toward security, and I followed him. That was when I knew for sure. Not the email. Not the heart. That moment, right there, when he could not look at me. We got through security. We walked to the gate. He bought me a coffee from the Starbucks cart. He was trying to be normal. He was trying so hard that his voice was too bright, like a light bulb about to blow. And then he kissed me on the cheek and said he would see me in Paris. That was the first time he said it. He called it Paris, not Chicago. He was so rattled he forgot his own lie. I watched him walk toward first class, and I pulled out my phone and I opened the email again, and I showed it to the agent. And the rest is what I already told you. Now he is standing in the galley. The plane is still on the ground. The flight attendant is on the intercom saying something about a ticketing issue. My husband is texting furiously. Diana is probably in her apartment right now, packing, wondering why he is not answering. The woman with the scarf has stopped knitting. She leans over and she says, I saw what you did in the lounge. I look at her. She says, I was sitting by the window. I saw you airdrop something to everyone in the room. I didn't get it, but I saw the look on your face when you did it. I want you to know I approve. I do not know what to say. I say thank you. She says, my husband cheated on me in 1987. I found out at a dinner party. I threw a glass of wine in his face and walked out. It was not enough. I should have done something like this. I look at my husband. He is still on his phone. He has not looked at me since he got on the plane. He is too busy figuring out how to fix this. He does not know that I am the one who broke it. The flight attendant walks up to him. She says something. He looks at her. Then he looks at me. Then he looks at the man in his seat. The man with the headphones who does not care about any of this. I do not know what is going to happen when we land. But I know one thing. I am not getting off this plane the same person who got on. The plane took off 47 minutes late. They said it was a ticketing issue. They said it was resolved. They did not say how. Michael sat in the jump seat for the whole climb. The flight attendant kept telling him to buckle in, and he kept trying to stand up and talk to her. She had that tone. The one that says I am not your problem to solve. I watched him from 34B. The onion ring man was asleep. The scarf woman was watching the same thing I was. We leveled out at cruising altitude. The seatbelt sign went off. Michael stood up immediately. He walked toward the back of the plane. Toward me. He did not have the look he usually has. He had the look of a man who has just discovered that his wallet is missing, and he does not know where he dropped it. He stopped next to my row. He leaned down. He said, What did you do? I said, I'm going to Paris. He said, You don't have a ticket to Paris. You have a ticket to Chicago. You said Chicago. I said, You said Chicago. He said nothing to that. He just stood there with his hand on the headrest of the seat in front of me. The man in that seat turned around and looked at him. Michael did not notice. He was too busy trying to process the thing I was not saying. I said, Diana is going to be at the airport. She's going to be waiting for you. She's going to have a sign with your name on it, probably. And when she sees you walk out with me, what is she going to do? He said, Helen, stop. I said, what is she going to say? Is she going to pretend she's from the office? Is she going to hug you and then look at me and say, oh, you must be the wife I have heard so much about? Or is she going to cry? He said, I don't know what you think you know. I said, I know you booked 2 tickets to Paris with our credit card. I know you told her you cannot wait to see her there. I know you lied to me about Chicago. I know you kissed me on the cheek and walked away like I was a person you had already forgotten. He looked at the floor. He looked at the aisle. He looked at the overhead bin. He looked everywhere but at me. The scarf woman was not pretending to not listen. She was just listening. I did not care. He said, Can we talk about this privately? I said, We are on an airplane. There is no privately. He said, I can get us moved. I can talk to the agent. I can. I said, You can stop talking to me like I am a problem you are trying to solve. He stopped. He actually stopped. He just stood there with his mouth slightly open and nothing came out. That was the first time in 11 years that I had seen him without a response. He always had a response. He always had a plan. He always had the next sentence ready. Not this time. I said, I found the email on Monday night. I was cleaning the kitchen. You left your laptop open. You always leave your laptop open. I have never looked at it before. I wish I had looked at it sooner. He said, it's not what you think. I said, it is exactly what I think. You booked 2 tickets. You used our card. You wrote her a heart emoji. You cannot wait to see her there. What else is there to think, he said. It's complicated. I said, you know what, screw this. I said it louder than I meant to. The onion ring man woke up. The woman with the knitting needles stopped. A few people in the rows ahead turned around. Michael stepped back. He held up his hands. That gesture. The one that says I am being reasonable and you are being unreasonable. I had seen that gesture 1,000 times. I had accepted that gesture 1,000 times. I was not accepting it anymore. I said, you do not get to make this complicated. You made it simple. You made it simple the moment you put her name on that ticket. You made it simple the moment you kissed me and walked away. You made it simple the moment you told me to my face that you were going to Chicago and you meant Paris. He said, I don't want to do this here. I said, I don't care what you want. He looked at me. Really looked at me. Like he was seeing me for the first time. I wondered what he saw. I wondered if he saw the woman who used to design book covers. I wondered if he saw the woman who stopped taking calls because he needed dinner on the table at 7. I wondered if he saw anything at all. He said, what do you want, Helen? I said, I want you to sit down. I want you to think about what you have done. And I want you to know that when we land, your seat is gone. Your first-class seat. Your business-class seat. Your marriage seat. All of it. I took it away from you. He did not sit down. He just stood there. The flight attendant came back. She said he needed to return to the jump seat. He said he was talking to his wife. She said he could talk to his wife after the beverage service. He looked at me. I looked at him. He walked away. The scarf woman said, that was good. I said, I don't feel good. She said, you will. Give it time. She pulled out her phone. She showed me the screen. It was a photo of the email. The same one. The one I had airdropped. She had it saved to her camera roll. She said, it's real. I did not believe it was real until I saw it on my phone. But there it is. His name. Her name. The dates. The card. Everything. I said, I did not think anyone would actually keep it. She said, sweetheart, I have been married for 42 years. My husband is dead now. But I kept everything. Everything. I have receipts from 1983. I have a letter he wrote to his secretary. I have a hotel key from a trip he took without me. I kept it all because I needed to prove to myself that it happened. That I was not crazy. That I was not making it up. I looked at her hands. She had rings on almost every finger. None of them matched. I wondered if she had been married more than once. I did not ask. She said, what are you going to do when you land? I said, I don't know yet. She said, you need to know. You need to have a plan. Because he is going to have one. He is already having one. He is sitting back there right now, thinking of ways to talk you down. Do not let him. Do not let him make you feel like this is something you did to him. I looked at the back of the plane. Michael was in the jump seat. He was on his phone again. I wondered if Diana had texted him back. I wondered if she knew yet. I wondered if she was packing her suitcase or if she was at the gate already, waiting for him with her perfect hair and her leather portfolio. The flight attendant came down the aisle with the drink cart. She stopped at my row. She asked what I wanted. I said I did not want anything. She said, are you sure we have wine? I said no. Thank you. She moved on. The onion ring man ordered a soda. The scarf woman ordered coffee. I sat there with my hands in my lap and I tried to think about what came next. I had not planned this. I had planned the airport. I had planned the gate. I had planned the airdrop. I had not planned the part after the plane landed. I had not planned what I would do with the 7 days in Paris. I had not planned where I would stay or what I would say when Diana saw me or how I would get back home. I had only planned the moment of impact. That was the problem with being married to Michael for 11 years. He always had a plan. He always had a roadmap. He always knew the next step. I always followed. I had stopped making my own plans because his were always better. His were always bigger. His were always the ones that made sense. I did not make sense anymore. I was on a plane to Paris with no hotel reservation and no luggage and no plan. I had a carry-on with 3 outfits and a phone full of screenshots and a husband who was trying to figure out how to bury me. But I had something else. I had the woman in the scarf. I had the passengers in the first-class lounge who had seen my airdrop. I had the flight attendant who knew something was wrong. I had the agent at the gate who had seen my face. I had evidence. I had the email. I had the heart emoji. I had the credit card statement. I had enough. The scarf woman leaned over again. She said, "You know, the husband is not the only one who has something to lose." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "He has a reputation. He has a business. He has a partner. He has clients. You have proof that he used your joint account to pay for a vacation with his mistress. What do you think that does to him?" I said, "I haven't thought about it." She said, You should think about it right now. Because that is your leverage. That is the only thing he understands. He does not understand feelings. He does not understand betrayal. He understands money and reputation and what happens when people find out the truth." I looked at her. She had a face like a map. Wrinkles from sun and time and maybe a few from crying. I did not know her name. I did not know anything about her. But she was giving me something no one else had given me in 11 years. A strategy. She said, "I'm going to tell you something. My husband did not have a job when I found out. He was a professor at a university. He was beloved. Students adored him. He had a reputation. And when I found out about the secretary, I did not throw wine in his face. I thought about it. But I did not. I walked out of the dinner party and I went home and I sat down at my typewriter. I typed out a letter to the dean. I told him everything. I did not mail it. I put it in a drawer. And I told my husband I had written it. I told him it was ready to go. I told him it would destroy his career and I would not care. And you know what happened? He begged. He cried. He promised. He did everything I had wanted him to do for years. And I looked at him and I said, "I don't want you anymore. I just want you to know that I can take it all away. I can take your job, your reputation, your legacy, your pension. I can take everything you worked for. And I will not do it. I will not do it because I am better than that. But you need to know that I could. And you need to live with that. Every day for the rest of your life." I did not say anything. I just looked at her. She said, "That letter stayed in the drawer for 20 years. He never knew if I had mailed it. He never knew if the dean had read it. He never knew anything. He just knew that I could have. And that was enough." I said, "What happened to him?" She said, "He died 2 years ago. He was sick for a long time. I took care of him. I stayed. I stayed because that was the person I was. But I never forgot that I could have left. I never forgot that I could have destroyed him. And he never forgot it either. He looked at me every day with that fear in his eyes. The fear that I might finally do it. The fear that I might have changed my mind. And that is the thing, you see. I did not destroy him. I let him destroy himself. He spent 20 years wondering when I would do it. And he was so busy worrying about that, he forgot how to be the person he had been. He became small. He became quiet. He became afraid. And that was my victory. I said, "I don't want him to be afraid." She said, "Then what do you want?" I did not have an answer. I sat there with the drink cart moving past and the onion ring man snoring and the sound of the engines humming, and I realized I had no idea what I wanted. I had wanted to hurt him. That was what I had wanted. I had wanted him to feel what I felt. I had wanted the plane to take off and him to sit there in the galley and realize what had happened. I had wanted the airdrop to spread and his face to turn white and his hands to shake. But that was not a plan. That was just a reaction. I had been reacting to Michael for 11 years. I had been reacting to his work schedule, his moods, his needs, his demands. I had stopped being the one who decided. I had stopped being the one who chose. I had become the one who responded. I was tired of responding. The scarf woman was looking at me. I said, "I don't want anything from him. I just want to be done. I want to stop being the person who has to think about him." She nodded. She said, "That is a plan. It is not complete. But it is a start." The flight attendant announced that we were beginning our descent into Paris. I looked out the window. I could see the lights of the city below. I had never been to Paris. I had never wanted to go. Michael had wanted to go for years. He had always said he would take me. He had always said it would be romantic. He had always said it would be just us. It was not just us. I looked back at the galley. Michael was still there. He was not on his phone anymore. He was just sitting there, staring at the floor. He looked small. He looked like a man who had just realized that he had made a terrible mistake and there was no way to undo it. I did not feel sorry for him. The plane landed. It touched down with a hard bounce and the wheels hit the tarmac and the cabin lights came up and everyone started reaching for their bags. The onion ring man woke up. The scarf woman put her knitting away. I stayed in my seat. I did not stand. I waited. Michael stood up before the seatbelt sign was off. He tried to push past the people in the aisle. They did not let him. They were too busy getting their own bags. He stood there, trapped behind a man in a hat and a woman with a rolling suitcase, and he watched me. I watched him. The scarf woman leaned over one last time. She said, "Do you know what you are going to say to her when you see her at the gate?" I said, "I am not going to say anything." She said, "What?" I said, "She is going to see me. She is going to see him. She is going to know. I do not need to say anything to her." The seatbelt sign went off. People stood up. The aisle filled with bodies and elbows and the smell of jet fuel from outside. I stood up too. I reached into the overhead bin and pulled down my carry-on. I did not look at Michael. I let the crowd carry me forward. I walked down the aisle and I did not stop. I stepped off the plane and into the terminal. The air was different. Colder. Smell of coffee and perfume and something that might have been bread. I walked toward the gate. Toward the arrivals hall. Toward the place where Diana would be waiting. I did not know what I was going to do. I did not have a plan. I had a phone full of screenshots and a carry-on with 3 outfits and a woman in a scarf who had given me a story I could not stop thinking about. I had a feeling. The feeling that I was not the one who was about to be left. She was there. I saw her before she saw me. She was standing by the glass wall near the baggage claim, holding a tablet and a paper coffee cup. Her hair was pulled back in that sleek way she does, the way that makes her look like she stepped out of a magazine, and she was wearing a trench coat that probably cost more than my entire carry-on. She was checking her phone. Then she was looking at the arrivals door. Then she was checking her phone again. I walked toward her. I did not speed up. I did not slow down. I just walked. The crowd parted around me like I was a rock in a river. I do not know why. Maybe I had that look. The look the scarf woman had. The look that says, "I know something you do not know." Diana saw me. She did not recognize me at first. She just saw a woman walking toward her, and she looked past me to see if Michael was behind me. Then she looked at me again. Then she looked at my face. Then she knew. I stopped about 3 feet from her. I did not say anything. I just stood there. I wanted to see what she would do. I wanted to see if she would run or cry or try to explain. She did none of those things. She just put her phone in her pocket and she said, "Helen." I said, "Diana." She said, "I did not expect to see you here." I said, "I know." She said, "Is Michael with you?" I said, "He is coming. He is at the back of the plane. He had to wait." She said, "I do not understand." I said, "Yes, you do." She looked at me. She had nice eyes. I had always noticed that about her. They were the kind of eyes that made people trust her. I wondered how many people she had used those eyes on. I wondered if Michael had been one of them. She said, "I want to explain." I said, "I do not want you to." She said, "Please." I said, "I am not going to be the wife who stands in an airport and listens to the mistress explain. I am not going to be that person. I am not going to make this easy for you. You do not get to tell me your side. You do not get to make me understand. You do not get to ask for my forgiveness or my sympathy or anything else. You had 3 years to think about what this would be like. You had 3 years to decide if you wanted to be the person who did this. You made your choice. I am not here to help you feel better about it." She opened her mouth. She closed it. She opened it again. She said, "I did not mean for this to happen." I said, "That is the dumbest thing you have ever said to me." She flinched. I watched her flinch. I watched her hand tighten on the paper coffee cup. I watched her look past me to the arrival's door again. I said, "He is not coming to save you. He is coming to face me. And you are going to be standing right here when he does. You are going to see his face when he realizes that he cannot fix this. You are going to see him without his mask. You are going to see what he looks like when he has nothing left to say. And you are going to remember it. You are going to remember it for the rest of your life. Because when you think about this moment, you are going to think about how small he is. How small you are. How small both of you are." She said, "You are making a mistake." I said, "I made a mistake. I married a man who had a heart emoji in his inbox. You are the mistake he made after." I did not wait for her response. I walked past her. I walked toward the arrivals hall. I did not know where I was going. I just knew I could not stand there anymore. I could not stand there and look at her perfect face and her perfect coat and her perfect hair and pretend that any of this was worth fighting for. I walked until I found a bench near the information desk. I sat down. I put my carry-on on the floor next to me. I put my hands in my lap. I tried to breathe. I did not cry. I wanted to. But I did not. The scarf woman appeared. She sat down next to me. She had a rolling suitcase and a tote bag with a French label on it. She said, "I saw you talking to her." I said, "Did you?" She said, "I saw her face when you walked away. She looked like she had just been hit by a car." I said, "Good." She said, "It is a start. But you need to keep going. You cannot stop now. You cannot stop until you have decided what you want." I said, "I told you. I do not know what I want." She said, "Then you need to figure it out. Because right now, you're in Paris. You have a husband who is about to walk through that door and see you sitting here. You have a mistress who is standing by the glass wall trying to decide whether to stay or run. You have a flight attendant who knows what you did. You have a gate agent who saw your face. You have a phone full of evidence. You have more than most women ever get. And you are sitting on a bench doing nothing." I said, "I am sitting on a bench trying to figure out what comes next." She said, "Then figure it out faster." She stood up. She grabbed her suitcase. She said, "I have to go. I have a train to catch. But I am going to tell you something before I leave. You are not the person who walks away from this. You are the person who decides. That is the difference. You decide. You do not wait for him to decide. You do not wait for her to decide. You do not wait for anything. You decide. And then you do it." She walked away. I watched her go. I did not know her name. I did not know anything about her. But I knew she had given me something I did not have before. Permission. Michael walked through the arrival's door about 10 minutes later. He looked like a man who had just survived a plane crash. His shirt was untucked. His hair was messy. He had a crease on his face from sleeping in the jump seat. He looked around the hall. He saw Diana. He saw her face. He saw her shake her head. He saw her point toward me. He walked toward me. He did not stop at Diana. He walked right past her. He walked all the way to the bench, and he sat down next to me. He said, "Helen." I said, "Michael." He said, "I need to talk to you." I said, "You had 11 years to talk to me. You had 3 years to talk to me. You had Monday night. You had Tuesday morning. You had the whole flight. You did not talk. You tried to fix it. You tried to manage it. You did not talk." He said, "I know." I said, "I do not want to listen to you explain. I do not want to listen to you apologize. I do not want to listen to you tell me it was a mistake or it did not mean anything or you were confused. I do not want any of that." He said, "What do you want?" I said, "I want you to know what I did." He said, "What did you do?" I said, "I sent the screenshots to everyone in the first class lounge. I do not know who they were. I do not know where they are going. I do not know if they know you or work with you or if they will ever see you again. But they have the proof. They have the email. They have your name and her name and the dates and the card number. They have everything. And I am going to tell you something else. I am going to tell you that I will show it to everyone. Your clients. Your investors. Your partners. Your mother. Everyone. If you do not give me what I want." He said, "What do you want?" I said, "I want the house. I want the savings account. I want the retirement fund. I want the car. I want everything. I want you to walk away with nothing. I want you to go to Diana and tell her that you are broke. I want you to tell her that your wife took everything and you have nothing left to give her. And I want you to live with that. I want you to live with knowing that you lost everything because you could not keep your hands to yourself. He was quiet for a long time. He sat there on the bench with his hands on his knees, and he stared at the floor. I watched him. I watched him process what I had said. I watched him try to find a way out. He said, "You are not going to do that." I said, "Why not?" He said, "Because you are not that person." I said, "You do not know what person I am. You have not known for a very long time. You have been so busy with Diana and with your deals and with your plans that you forgot to look at me. You forgot to see me. You forgot that I was the person who gave up her career to make you dinner. You forgot that I was the person who listened to you talk about zoning approvals for 11 years. You forgot that I was the person who stayed when we could not have children. You forgot that I was the person who loved you. And you forgot that person can also hate you." He looked at me then. He looked at me like I was a stranger. He said, "You would not take everything. You would not take the business. You would not take the retirement. You would not make me start over." I said, "Watch me." He stood up. He walked away. He walked back to Diana. I watched him talk to her. I watched her shake her head. I watched him put his hand on her arm. I watched her pull away. I watched him try again. I watched her walk away. He stood there alone. I sat on the bench, and I watched him, and I felt something I had not felt in a long time. I felt like I was in control. I felt like I was the one who had the power. I felt like I was the one who decided. The scarf woman was right. I was not the person who walks away from this. I was the person who decides. I decided I was not going to let him off easy. I decided I was not going to be the woman who takes him back. I decided I was not going to be the woman who forgives. I decided I was going to be the woman who takes everything. I decided I was going to be the woman who walks away with a bag full of screenshots and a bank account full of his money. I decided I was going to be the woman he remembers for the rest of his life. I pulled out my phone. I opened the Notes app. I started writing a list. It was a list of everything I wanted. The house, the savings, the retirement, the car, the investments, the joint accounts, the business. I wrote it all down. Then I looked at him again. He was still standing there. He was looking at his phone. He was probably calling her. He was probably trying to get her back. He was probably trying to figure out how to fix this. I did not care. I stood up. I grabbed my carry-on. I walked toward the exit. I did not look back. I walked out of the airport and into the cold Paris air. I did not have a hotel room. I did not have a plan. I did not have anything except a list on my phone and a fury that was starting to feel like freedom. I found a taxi. I got in. I said, "Take me to the nearest hotel that has a room." The driver looked at me in the rearview mirror. He said, "Which one?" I said, "I do not care. Just drive." He drove. I sat in the back of the taxi and I watched Paris go by. I had never been here. I had never wanted to be here. But I was here now. I was here because my husband had tried to bring his mistress to this city. He had tried to steal this from me. He had tried to take the one trip we were supposed to take together and give it to someone else. He had tried. He had failed. The taxi stopped at a hotel. I did not know the name. I paid the driver. I got out. I walked into the lobby. I walked up to the front desk. I said, "I need a room." The woman behind the desk said, "How many nights?" I said, "I do not know." She said, "Credit card." I gave her my card. Not the joint one. The one in my own name. The one I had opened when I was still working. The one I had not used in years. She swiped it. She said, "You are all set. Room 412. I took the key. I walked to the elevator. I got in. I pressed the button for the 4th floor. The doors closed. I looked at my reflection in the mirror. I looked tired. I looked old. I looked like a woman who had just found out her husband was cheating on her and had not slept in 2 days. But I also looked like a woman who was not going to take it. I got to my room. I opened the door. I walked inside. I threw my carry-on on the bed. I sat down on the edge of the mattress. I pulled out my phone. I opened the list I had written. I looked at it. I read it out loud to myself. The house. The savings. The retirement. The car. The investments. The joint accounts. The business. I said it again. The house. The savings. The retirement. The car. The investments. The joint accounts. The business. I said it a third time. The house. The savings. The retirement. The car. The investments. The joint accounts. The business. I was not going to be the woman who forgives. I was not going to be the woman who takes him back. I was not going to be the woman who cries in a hotel room in Paris while her husband tries to win back his mistress. I was going to be the woman who takes everything. I looked at my phone. I had a text from Michael. It said, "I need to talk to you. Please. Just let me explain." I deleted it. I had a text from Diana. It said, "I am so sorry. I did not mean to hurt you. I never wanted this." I deleted it. I had a text from the scarf woman. I did not know how she got my number. She must have taken it from the airdrop. It said, "You are going to be fine. You are going to be better than fine. You are going to be the one they talk about." I saved it. I put my phone down. I lay back on the bed. I stared at the ceiling. I thought about everything. I thought about the house. I thought about the savings. I thought about the retirement. I thought about the car. I thought about the investments. I thought about the joint accounts. I thought about the business. I thought about Michael. I thought about how he used to hold my hand when we walked down the street. I thought about how he used to bring me coffee in bed. I thought about how he used to tell me I was beautiful even when I was not. I thought about how he used to make me laugh. I thought about how he stopped doing all of those things. I thought about how I stopped noticing. I thought about how I stopped asking. I thought about how I stopped wanting. And then I thought about Diana. I thought about her perfect hair and her perfect coat and her perfect smile. I thought about the way she looked at me in the airport. I thought about the way she said she did not mean for this to happen. I did not believe her. I did not believe any of it. I sat up. I picked up my phone. I opened the Notes app again. I started writing a new list. This one was not about what I wanted. This one was about what I was going to do. I wrote, Step 1, call a lawyer. Step 2, freeze the joint accounts. Step 3, change the locks on the house. Step 4, call his mother. Step 5, call his partner. Step 6, call his biggest client. I looked at the list. I read it out loud. I said, Step 1, call a lawyer. Step 2, freeze the joint accounts. Step 3, change the locks on the house. Step 4, call his mother. Step 5, call his partner. Step 6, call his biggest client. I said it again. I said, Step 1, Step 2, Step 3, Step 4, Step 5, Step 6. I put the phone down. I lay back on the bed. I stared at the ceiling. I did not feel sad. I did not feel angry. I did not feel anything. I just felt like I had a plan. And that was the first time in 11 years that I had a plan that was mine. I called the lawyer from the hotel room. Her name was Margaret Chin. I found her through a contact I had not spoken to in 6 years. A woman I used to do freelance design work for. She was a divorce attorney. She specialized in high net worth cases. She answered on the second ring. I said, "This is Helen. Helen Morley. I need a divorce." She said, "You are the woman on the plane." I said, "How did you know?" She said, "It is all over the internet." Someone posted a photo of the airdrop screenshot on Twitter. It has been shared about 700 times. Your husband's name is attached. His company is attached. The mistress is attached. You are not attached yet, but it is only a matter of time. I did not say anything. I just sat there on the edge of the bed with the phone pressed to my ear and the sound of Paris traffic coming through the window. She said, "Helen, are you still there?" I said, "Yes." She said, "You need to get in front of this. You need to make a statement. You need to control the narrative. You need to file the paperwork before he does. I can have the papers ready by tomorrow morning. But I need to know what you want." I said, "I want everything." She said, "Be specific." I opened the Notes app. I read her the list. The house. The savings. The retirement. The car. The investments. The joint accounts. The business. She said, "The business is complicated. He started it before you were married. You might not have a claim to the full value, but you have a claim to the portion that grew during the marriage. And you have the credit card evidence. That helps. That makes him look like he was using marital assets to fund the affair. The court will not like that. I said, I do not care if they like it. I want it. She said, then we will get it. But I need you to do something for me. I said, what? She said, I need you to stay in Paris for a few days. I need you to stay out of his reach. I need you to not talk to him. I need you to not answer his calls. I need you to not respond to his texts. I need you to let him wonder what is happening. I need you to let him sit in the uncertainty. Do you understand? I said, yes. She said, good. I will send you the documents electronically. You will need to sign them and send them back. I will file them with the court. Then we wait. I said, wait for what? She said, wait for him to realize you are serious. I hung up. I sat there with the phone in my hand. I looked at the window. The sun was starting to set. Paris was orange and pink, and the Eiffel Tower was lit up in the distance. I did not care. I got up. I walked to the window. I looked down at the street. People walking. Couples holding hands. Women with shopping bags. Men in suits. Everyone living their lives. Everyone doing what they did every day. I was not one of them anymore. I was the woman on the plane. I was the woman who airdropped the screenshots. I was the woman who called the lawyer. I was the woman who was about to take everything. I looked at my phone. I had 12 missed calls from Michael. I had 23 texts. I opened one. It said, please. I am begging you. Just talk to me. I did not respond. I opened another. It said, I am outside your hotel. I found out where you are. Please come down. I looked out the window again. I looked at the street. I looked at the door of the hotel. He was there. He was standing on the sidewalk. He was wearing the same shirt he had worn on the plane. He looked like he had not slept. He looked like he had been crying. I watched him. He looked up at the hotel. He did not see me. He looked at the window. He looked at the door. He looked at his phone. I watched him. I did not go down. I turned away from the window. I walked back to the bed. I sat down. I opened the Notes app. I looked at the list again. Step 1. Call a lawyer. Done. Step 2. Freeze the joint accounts. Not done. Step 3. Change the locks on the house. Not done. Step 4. Call his mother. Not done. Step 5. Call his partner. Not done. Step 6. Call his biggest client. Not done. I looked at step 2. I opened the banking app. I logged in. I looked at the joint account. There was a lot of money in it. More than I had thought. Enough to live on for a long time. I hit the button to freeze the account. It asked for confirmation. I confirmed. It asked again. I confirmed again. The account froze. I looked at step 3. I called a locksmith in our city. I told them to change the locks on the house. I told them to send the bill to Michael's office. I told them to do it tonight. They said they would. I looked at step 4. I called Michael's mother. Her name was Eleanor. She was 81. She lived in a retirement community in Florida. She answered on the first ring. She said, Helen, is that you? I said, yes. She said, I saw the news. I saw what he did. I am so sorry. I did not raise him to be that man. I do not know where I went wrong. I said, you did not go wrong. He chose to do this. He chose to lie to me. He chose to use our money to take her to Paris. He chose everything. She said, what are you going to do? I said, I am going to take everything. The house, the savings, the retirement, the car, the investments, the joint accounts, the business. She said, I do not blame you. I said, good. She said, he was always like this, you know. Even as a child. He wanted everything. He never wanted to share. I thought he would grow out of it. I thought marriage would change him. I said, it did not. She said, no, it did not. And I am sorry for that. I am sorry you had to find out this way. I am sorry you had to be the one to pay for his mistakes. I said, I will not pay for them anymore. He will. She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, do what you need to do, Helen. Do not look back. Do not feel sorry for him. He made his bed. He can lie in it. I hung up. I looked at step 5. I called his partner. His name was William. He had been Michael's business partner for 15 years. They had built the company together. They were more than partners. They were friends. He answered on the third ring. He said, Helen. I heard. I said, William, I need to tell you something. He said, you do not have to. I know. I have known for a while. I did not tell you because I thought it would work itself out. I thought he would come to his senses. I was wrong. I am sorry. I said, I need you to know that I am going to take the business. I am going to take a share. I am going to take everything. And I am going to do it in a way that does not hurt you. You are not the one who cheated on me. You are not the one who lied to me. You are not the one who used our money to take her to Paris. I want you to know that. He said, Helen, you cannot take the business. You cannot take his share. That is not how it works. That is not how any of this works. I said, watch me. He said, you are not thinking clearly. You are angry. You are hurt. You are making decisions that you are going to regret. I am telling you this as a friend. Do not do this. Do not do something you cannot take back. I said, I have already done it. I have frozen the accounts. I have changed the locks. I have called his mother. I have called you. I am going to call his biggest client next. And I am going to tell him everything. I am going to tell him what Michael did. I am going to tell him that Michael used company money to fund his affair. I am going to tell him that Michael is not the person he thinks he is. And then I am going to see what happens. He said, you do not have the proof. I said, I have the screenshots. I have the email. I have the credit card statement. I have the heart emoji. I have enough. He said, you are making a mistake. I said, I have been making mistakes for 11 years. This is not one of them. I hung up. I looked at step 6. I called his biggest client. His name was Robert. He owned a development company in California. He had been Michael's client for 8 years. He had given Michael millions of dollars in business. He answered. I said, Robert, this is Helen Morley, Michael's wife. He said, Helen. I have been trying to reach Michael all day. Is he okay? Is something wrong? I said, Michael is having an affair. He used your money to fund it. He used the money you trusted him with to buy plane tickets and hotel rooms and dinners for his mistress. I am telling you this because I think you should know. I think you should know what kind of man you are doing business with. There was a long silence. He said, I do not believe you. I said, I can send you the screenshots. I can send you the email. I can send you the credit card statement. I can send you everything. I have it all. I will send it to you right now. I sent it. I hit send and I waited. He said, I am looking at it now. I waited. He said, I am not going to do business with him anymore. I cannot work with someone who does this. I cannot work with someone who lies like this. I am pulling my contracts. I am ending the partnership. I am telling everyone I know about this. I said, thank you. He said, I am not doing this for you. I am doing this for me. I cannot have my name attached to someone like him. I cannot have my reputation ruined because he could not keep his hands to himself. I am sorry for what he did to you. But I am also angry for what he did to me. He put me at risk. He put my business at risk. He put everything at risk. And I will not let that happen. I am telling you this so you know. I am pulling the contracts. And I am not going to be the only one. I know people. I know a lot of people. I am going to tell them all. I said, thank you. He said, do not thank me. Just take care of yourself. He hung up. I sat there. I looked at the phone. I had done it. I had done everything. I had called the lawyer. I had frozen the accounts. I had changed the locks. I had called his mother. I had called his partner. I had called his biggest client. I had done everything. I looked out the window. Michael was still there. He was pacing. He was looking at his phone. He was probably getting calls. He was probably finding out what I had done. He was probably realizing that his world was collapsing. I watched him. He stopped pacing. He looked up at the window. He looked directly at me. He saw me. He waved. He motioned for me to come down. I did not move. He called me. I did not answer. He texted me. I did not read it. He called me again. I did not answer. He texted me again. I read it. It said, I know you are watching me. I know you did all of this. I know you called everyone. I know you froze the accounts. I know you changed the locks. I know you called Robert. I know you told him everything. I know you destroyed everything I built. I know you are trying to ruin me. I know you are trying to take everything. I know you are trying to destroy me. And I am telling you right now, Helen, I am not going to let you. I am not going to let you take everything. I am not going to let you destroy me. I am not going to let you win. I read it. I did not respond. I put the phone down. I walked to the window. I looked down at him. He was still there. He was still pacing. He was still looking at his phone. He was still waiting for me to respond. I did not respond. I turned away from the window. I walked to the bed. I sat down. I picked up the phone. I opened the Notes app. I looked at the list. Step 1. Call a lawyer. Done. Step 2. Freeze the joint accounts. Done. Step 3. Change the locks on the house. Done. Step 4. Call his mother. Done. Step 5. Call his partner. Done. Step 6. Call his biggest client. Done. I looked at the list. I read it out loud. Step 1. Step 2. Step 3. Step 4. Step 5. Step 6. Done. 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 I said it again. Done. 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 I put the phone down. I lay back on the bed. I stared at the ceiling. I had done everything. I had done everything I said I would do. I had done everything I planned to do. I had done everything I wrote on the list. I had done everything. I closed my eyes. I fell asleep. I woke up to the sound of my phone ringing. It was Margaret. The lawyer. I answered. I said, "What is it?" She said, "Your husband has filed for a restraining order. He has claimed that you are harassing him. He has claimed that you are threatening him. He has claimed that you are a danger to him and his business. He has filed a motion to prevent you from contacting anyone else. He has filed a motion to prevent you from speaking to his clients. He has filed a motion to prevent you from freezing any more accounts. He has filed a motion to prevent you from doing anything at all." I sat up. I said, "He cannot do that." She said, "He can." He did. And he might win. The court is going to look at what you did. The court is going to look at the calls you made. The court is going to look at the emails you sent. The court is going to look at the screenshots you sent to Robert. They're going to see a woman who was angry and who acted out. They're going to see a woman who tried to destroy her husband's business. They are not going to be on your side. I said, "But he cheated on me. He used our money. He lied to me. He..." She said, "I know. I know all of that. And I am on your side. But the court is not going to be on your side if you keep doing this. You need to stop. You need to stop making calls. You need to stop sending emails. You need to stop freezing accounts. You need to stop doing everything. You need to let me handle this. You need to let me be the one who fights. You cannot do this alone. You cannot do this on your own. You need to trust me." I said, "I do not trust anyone." She said, "You need to trust me. You need to trust me or you are going to lose everything. You are going to lose the house. You are going to lose the savings. You are going to lose the retirement. You are going to lose the car. You are going to lose the investments. You are going to lose the joint accounts. You are going to lose the business. You are going to lose everything." I said, "I do not care." She said, "Yes, you do. You care. You care a lot. You are just too angry to see it. You are just too angry to see what you are doing. You are just too angry to see that you are making mistakes. And I am telling you this because I care about you. I am telling you this because I want you to win. And you cannot win if you keep doing this. You need to stop. You need to let me take over. You need to let me be the one who does the work. You need to let me be the one who fights. You need to let me be the one who wins." I did not say anything. She said, "Helen, are you still there?" I said, "Yes." She said, "I need you to promise me something. I need you to promise me that you will stop. I need you to promise me that you will let me handle this. I need you to promise me that you will not do anything else. I need you to promise me that you will stay in Paris and let me do my job." I said, "I promise." She said, "Good. I will call you tomorrow." She hung up. I sat there. I looked at the phone. I looked at the window. Michael was still there. He was still pacing. He was still looking at his phone. He was still waiting for me to respond. I did not respond. I put the phone down. I lay back on the bed. I stared at the ceiling. I had promised to stop. I had promised to let her handle it. I had promised to stay in Paris. I had promised. But I was not going to keep that promise. I was going to do something else. I was going to do something she did not know about. Something he did not know about. Something no one knew about. I was going to win. I sat up. I opened the notes app. I looked at the list. I looked at the things I had done. I looked at the things I had not done. I looked at the things I was going to do. I wrote a new list. It was the list of things I was going to do next. I did not stay in Paris. I stayed for 2 more days. I walked the streets. I drank coffee at a cafe near the hotel. I bought a scarf from a shop I did not remember entering. I looked at the Eiffel Tower from a distance. I did not go near it. I did not want to. I was not here for Paris. I was here to wait. Michael stayed too. He was in a hotel 3 blocks away. I knew because he texted me the address. He texted me a lot. He texted me that he was sorry. He texted me that he wanted to talk. He texted me that he had made a mistake. He texted me that he loved me. He texted me that he had not meant any of it. I did not respond to any of them. I did respond to one text. It was from Diana. She sent me a photo. It was a photo of her and Michael in a restaurant. They were laughing. They were holding hands. The photo was dated 6 months ago. She captioned it, "I thought you should know what you are fighting for." I did not respond. I did not have to. She already knew what I was fighting for. She just did not know I was not fighting for him. I called Margaret every day. She told me the restraining order had been denied. She told me the court had looked at the evidence and decided Michael was overreacting. She told me that my calls to his clients and his partner and his mother were not harassment. She told me that I had done nothing wrong. She told me that she was going to file the divorce papers the next day. I told her I was coming home. She said, "Do not do that. Stay in Paris. Let me handle this. You coming home will only make things worse. You coming home will give him a chance to see you. You coming home will give him a chance to talk to you. You coming home will give him a chance to change your mind. You need to stay away from him. You need to stay away from everything. You need to let me handle this." I said, "I am not coming home to see him. I am coming home to get my things. I am coming home to pack. I am coming home to leave." She said, "You do not have to leave. You have a right to stay in the house. You have a right to." I said, "I do not want to stay in the house. I do not want to be in the house. I do not want to be in any place that has him in it. I do not want to be in any place that has our name on it. I do not want to be in any place that has our life in it. I am coming home to get my things and then I am leaving. I am going to find a new place. I am going to start over. I am going to be done with all of this." She said, "That is not a good idea. You are not thinking clearly. You are making decisions that you are going to regret. You need to stay in Paris. You need to let me handle this. You need to." I said, "I am not asking for permission. I am telling you what I am going to do." She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Fine. But I want you to promise me something. I want you to promise me that you will not talk to him. I want you to promise me that you will not see him. I want you to promise me that you will not do anything that could hurt your case. I want you to promise me that you will be smart about this." I said, "I promise." I hung up. I packed my bag. I called a taxi. I went to the airport. I got on a plane. I flew home. The flight was long. I did not sleep. I looked out the window. I thought about everything. I thought about the house. I thought about the savings. I thought about the retirement. I thought about the car. I thought about the investments. I thought about the joint accounts. I thought about the business. I thought about Michael. I thought about how he used to hold my hand. I thought about how he used to bring me coffee in bed. I thought about how he used to tell me I was beautiful. I thought about how he used to make me laugh. I thought about how he stopped. I thought about how I stopped noticing. I thought about how I stopped asking. I thought about how I stopped wanting. I thought about Diana. I thought about her perfect hair. I thought about her perfect coat. I thought about her perfect smile. I thought about the way she looked at me in the airport. I thought about the way she said she did not mean for this to happen. I thought about the photo she sent me. The one of her and Michael laughing in the restaurant. The one where they were holding hands. I thought about how she thought it would hurt me. It did not. I landed. I took a taxi to the house. The house was dark. Michael was not there. I knew he was still in Paris. He was trying to find me. He was trying to get me to talk to him. He was trying to get me to listen to him. He was trying to get me to forgive him. I was not going to. I unlocked the door. I walked inside. The house was the same. The furniture was the same. The pictures on the wall were the same. The smell was the same. The kitchen was the same. The living room was the same. The bedroom was the same. Everything was the same. But I was not. I walked through the house. I did not look at anything. I did not stop. I walked to the bedroom. I opened the closet. I pulled out my suitcases. I started packing. I packed my clothes. I packed my shoes. I packed my jewelry. I packed my books. I packed my photos. I packed my laptop. I packed my Wacom tablet. I packed everything that was mine. I did not pack anything that was his. I did not pack the bed. I did not pack the dresser. I did not pack the nightstand. I did not pack the photos of us. I did not pack the wedding album. I did not pack the gifts he had given me. I left all of that. I packed my things. I zipped the suitcases. I carried them to the front door. I put them by the door. I went back inside. I walked through the house one more time. I looked at the living room. I looked at the kitchen. I looked at the dining room. I looked at the bedroom. I looked at the bathroom. I looked at everything. I did not feel sad. I did not feel angry. I did not feel anything. I just felt like I was leaving. I walked to the front door. I opened it. I picked up my suitcases. I walked out. I closed the door behind me. I did not lock it. I did not care. I got in the taxi. I told the driver to take me to a hotel. He asked which one. I said the nearest one. He drove. I checked in. I got a room. I put my suitcases on the bed. I sat down. I looked at my phone. I had a text from Michael. It said, "I know you are home. I know you are in the house. I am on my way. I am coming to see you. I am coming to talk to you. I am coming to fix this." I read it. I did not respond. I had another text from Margaret. It said, "The papers have been filed. He has been served. He is legally required to respond within 30 days. Do not talk to him. Do not see him. Do not do anything. Let me handle this." I read it. I did not respond. I put the phone down. I lay back on the bed. I stared at the ceiling. I had done it. I had filed the papers. I had left the house. I had packed my things. I had started over. I had done everything. I closed my eyes. I fell asleep. I woke up to the sound of someone knocking on the door. I got up. I walked to the door. I looked through the peephole. Michael. He was standing outside. He was wearing the same shirt he had worn on the plane. He looked like he had not slept. He looked like he had been crying. He looked like he had been drinking. He knocked again. He said, "Helen, I know you are in there. I know you are awake. I know you can hear me. Please. Please open the door. Please talk to me. Please let me explain." I did not open the door. I did not say anything. He knocked again. He said, "Helen, I am not going to leave. I am not going to leave until you talk to me. I am not going to leave until you listen to me. I am not going to leave until you forgive me. I am not going to leave until you take me back. I am not going to leave until you love me again." I did not open the door. I did not say anything. He knocked again. He said, "Helen, I am going to stay here all night. I am going to stay here until you open the door. I am going to stay here until you talk to me. I am going to stay here until you let me in. I am going to stay here until you love me again." I walked away from the door. I walked to the bed. I sat down. I picked up my phone. I opened the Notes app. I looked at the list. Step 1. Call a lawyer. Done. Step 2. Freeze the joint accounts. Done. Step 3. Change the locks on the house. Done. Step 4. Call his mother. Done. Step 5. Call his partner. Done. Step 6. Call his biggest client. Done. I looked at the list. I had done everything. I had done everything I said I would do. I had done everything I planned to do. But I had not done everything. There was one more thing. There was one more thing I needed to do. I got up. I walked to the door. I opened it. Michael was standing there. He looked surprised. He looked like he did not expect me to open the door. He said, "Helen." I said, "Michael." He said, "I am so sorry. I am so sorry for everything. I am so sorry for what I did. I am so sorry for what I said. I am so sorry for what I put you through. I am so sorry for I said, stop. He stopped. I said, I do not want to hear any of that. I do not want to hear your apologies. I do not want to hear your explanations. I do not want to hear your promises. I do not want to hear anything you have to say. He said, then why did you open the door? I said, because I want to tell you something. I want to tell you what I am going to do. I want to tell you what is going to happen. He said, what? I said, I am going to take everything. I am going to take the house. I am going to take the savings. I am going to take the retirement. I am going to take the car. I am going to take the investments. I am going to take the joint accounts. I am going to take the business. I am going to take everything. And then I am going to leave. I am going to leave you. I am going to leave you with nothing. I am going to leave you with nothing and I am going to walk away. He said, you cannot do that. I said, watch me. He said, you are not going to do that. You are not going to take everything. You are not going to leave me with nothing. You are not going to walk away. You are not going to do any of those things. You are not going to do any of those things because you love me. You love me and you cannot walk away. You love me and you cannot leave me. You love me and you cannot take everything. You love me and you cannot. I said, I do not love you anymore. He stopped. I said, I do not love you. I do not love you anymore. I do not love you at all. I do not love you. I do not love you. I do not love you. I said it again. I do not love you. I do not love you. I do not love you. He looked at me. He looked at me like he did not recognize me. He looked at me like I was a stranger. He looked at me like I was someone else. He said, you do not mean that. I said, I mean every word. I do not love you. I do not love you anymore. I do not love you at all. I do not love you. I do not love you. I do not love you. He said, you are lying. I said, I am not lying. I am telling you the truth. I do not love you. I do not love you anymore. I do not love you at all. I do not love you. I do not love you. I do not love you. He said, I do not believe you. I said, I do not care. I closed the door. I locked it. I walked back to the bed. I sat down. I picked up my phone. I looked at the list. I had done everything. I had done everything I said I would do. I had done everything I planned to do. But I had not done everything. There was one more thing. There was one more thing I needed to do. I opened the Notes app. I wrote a new list. It was the list of things I was going to do next. I wrote, Step 1, find a new place to live. Step 2, find a new job. Step 3, start over. Step 4, forget him. Step 5, move on. Step 6, live. I looked at the list. I read it out loud. Step 1, find a new place to live. Step 2, find a new job. Step 3, start over. Step 4, forget him. Step 5, move on. Step 6, live. I said it again. Step 1. Step 2. Step 3. Step 4. Step 5. Step 6. I put the phone down. I lay back on the bed. I stared at the ceiling. I had done everything. I had done everything I said I would do. I had done everything I planned to do. I had done everything I wrote on the list. But I had not done everything. There was one more thing. There was one more thing I needed to do. I got up. I walked to the door. I opened it. He was still there. He was standing outside. He was crying. I said, Michael. He looked at me. I said, I am going to tell you something. I am going to tell you one last thing. And then I am going to close the door. I am going to close the door and I am never going to open it again. I am never going to talk to you again. I am never going to see you again. I am never going to think about you again. I am never going to love you again. I am never going to do any of those things. I am going to close this door and I am going to walk away. And I am never going to look back. He said, please. Please do not do this. I said, I am not doing this to you. I am doing this for me. I am doing this because I need to. I am doing this because I have to. I am doing this because I cannot keep doing this. I am doing this because I cannot keep being the person who loves you. I am doing this because I cannot keep being the person who waits for you. I am doing this because I cannot keep being the person who hopes for you. I am doing this because I cannot keep being the person who believes in you. I am doing this because I cannot keep being the person who forgives you. I am doing this because I cannot keep being the person who takes you back. I am doing this because I cannot keep being the person who loves you. I closed the door. I locked it. I walked back to the bed. I sat down. I picked up my phone. I looked at the list. Step 1. Find a new place to live. Step 2. Find a new job. Step 3. Start over. Step 4. Forget him. Step 5. Move on. Step 6. Live. I looked at the list. I read it out loud. Step 1. Find a new place to live. Step 2. Find a new job. Step 3. Start over. Step 4. Forget him. Step 5. Move on. Step 6. Live. I said it again. Step 1. Step 2. Step 3. Step 4. Step 5. Step 6. I put the phone down. I lay back on the bed. I stared at the ceiling. I had done everything. I had done everything I said I would do. I had done everything I planned to do. I had done everything I wrote on the list. I had done everything. But I had not done everything. There was one more thing. There was one more thing I needed to do. The one more thing was this. I was not going to let him keep the house. I was not going to let him keep the money. I was not going to let him keep the business. I was not going to let him keep any of it. But I was also not going to keep any of it. I was not going to stay in a house that had his name on it. I was not going to spend money that had his sweat on it. I was not going to run a business that had his vision in it. I was not going to keep anything that had him attached to it. I was going to walk away from all of it. I did not want the house. I did not want the savings. I did not want the retirement. I did not want the car. I did not want the investments. I did not want the joint accounts. I did not want the business. I did not want any of it. I wanted something else. I wanted something that had nothing to do with him. I wanted something that was mine. I wanted something that I built. I wanted something that I earned. I wanted something that was just for me. I got up. I walked to the window. I looked out at the city. It was dark. The lights were on. The streets were empty. The buildings were tall. The sky was black. I thought about what I wanted. I wanted a new life. I wanted a new home. I wanted a new job. I wanted a new everything. I wanted to start over. I walked back to the bed. I picked up my phone. I called Margaret. She answered. She said, "Helen, I told you not to call me. I told you to let me handle this. I told you," I said, "I am not going to take anything." She said, "What?" I said, "I am not going to take anything. I am not going to take the house. I am not going to take the savings. I am not going to take the retirement. I am not going to take the car. I am not going to take the investments. I am not going to take the joint accounts. I am not going to take the business. I am not going to take any of it." She said, "Helen, you need to think about this. You need to think about what you are saying. You need to think about," I said, "I have thought about it. I have thought about it a lot. I have thought about it all day. I have thought about it all night. I have thought about it the whole time I have been in Paris. I have thought about it the whole time I have been on the plane. I have thought about it the whole time I have been in this room. I have thought about it and I have decided. I am not going to take anything." She said, "You are making a mistake." I said, "I am not making a mistake. I am making a decision. I am making a decision to walk away. I am making a decision to start over. I am making a decision to not have anything to do with him. I am making a decision to not have anything to do with any of it. I am making a decision to be done." She said, "I do not understand." I said, "I do not need you to understand. I need you to do what I ask. I need you to draw up the papers. I need you to draft a settlement. I need you to give him everything. I need you to give him the house. I need you to give him the savings. I need you to give him the retirement. I need you to give him the car. I need you to give him the investments. I need you to give him the joint accounts. I need you to give him the business. I need you to give him everything." She said, "He will not believe it." I said, "He will not have to believe it. He will just have to sign it." She said, "You are not going to keep anything." I said, "I am going to keep my name. I am going to keep my life. I am going to keep my freedom. I am going to keep my peace. I am going to keep my sanity. I am going to keep my dignity. I am going to keep everything that matters. And I am going to give him everything that does not. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, I will draw up the papers. I will send them to you. I will have him sign them. I will make sure it is done. I said, thank you. She said, you are making a big decision. You are making a decision that you cannot take back. You are making a decision that will change everything. You are making a decision that will change your life. You are making a decision that will change your future. You are making a decision that will change who you are. You are making a decision that will change everything. Are you sure you want to do this? I said, I have never been more sure of anything in my life. I hung up. I sat there. I looked at the phone. I looked at the window. I looked at the room. I had done it. I had made the decision. I had made the choice. I had decided to walk away. I was not going to take anything. I was not going to keep anything. I was not going to hold on to anything. I was not going to fight for anything. I was not going to fight for any of it. I was going to let it all go. I was going to let it all go, and I was going to walk away. I got up. I walked to the bathroom. I looked at myself in the mirror. I looked tired. I looked old. I looked like a woman who had been through a lot. But I also looked like a woman who was going to be okay. I smiled. It was a small smile. It was not a big smile. It was not a happy smile. It was just a smile. A smile that said I was going to be okay. I walked back to the room. I sat down on the bed. I picked up my phone. I opened the Notes app. I looked at the list. Step 1. Find a new place to live. Step 2. Find a new job. Step 3. Start over. Step 4. Forget him. Step 5. Move on. Step 6. Live. I looked at the list. I read it out loud. Step 1. Find a new place to live. Step 2. Find a new job. Step 3. Start over. Step 4. Forget him. Step 5. Move on. Step 6. Live. I said it again. Step 1. Step 2. Step 3. Step 4. Step 5. Step 6. I put the phone down. I lay back on the bed. I stared at the ceiling. I had done everything. I had done everything I said I would do. I had done everything I planned to do. I had done everything I wrote on the list. I had done everything. But I had not done everything. There was one more thing. There was one more thing I needed to do. I got up. I walked to the door. I opened it. He was not there. I walked down the hall. I walked to the elevator. I got in. I pressed the button for the lobby. The elevator went down. The doors opened. I walked out. The lobby was empty. The desk clerk was reading a book. He looked up at me. He said, "Are you checking out?" I said, "No. I am just going for a walk." He nodded. He went back to his book. I walked out of the hotel. I walked down the street. The city was quiet. The streets were empty. The lights were on. The buildings were tall. The sky was black. I walked. I did not know where I was going. I just walked. I thought about everything. I thought about Michael. I thought about Diana. I thought about the house. I thought about the money. I thought about the business. I thought about everything. I thought about the woman I was. I thought about the woman I used to be. I thought about the woman I wanted to be. I thought about what it would be like to start over. I thought about what it would be like to have a new life. I thought about what it would be like to be free. I kept walking. I walked for a long time. I walked until the sun started to come up. I walked until the streetlights turned off. I walked until the birds started singing. I walked until the city started to wake up. I stopped walking. I looked around. I was in a part of the city I did not recognize. There were small shops. There were apartments. There were trees. There was a park. There was a bench. There was a cafe. I walked to the cafe. I sat down at a table. I ordered coffee. I sat there, and I watched the city wake up. I watched the people. I watched the cars. I watched the dogs. I watched the birds. I watched everything. I sat there for a long time. I finished my coffee. I got up. I walked back to the hotel. I walked into the lobby. The desk clerk was still there. He looked up at me. He said, "You have a visitor." I said, "Who?" He said, "Your husband." I turned around. Michael was standing behind me. He looked worse than he had looked the night before. He looked like he had not slept. He looked like he had been crying. He looked like he had been drinking. He said, "Helen, I need to talk to you." I said, I have nothing to say to you. He said, please. Please just listen to me. Please just let me explain. Please just let me. I said, I do not want to listen to you. I do not want to hear what you have to say. I do not want to hear your explanations. I do not want to hear your apologies. I do not want to hear your promises. I do not want to hear any of it. He said, you do not mean that. You do not mean any of that. You are just angry. You are just hurt. You're just, I said, I am not angry. I am not hurt. I am not anything. I am done. I am done with you. I am done with this. I am done with everything. He said, you cannot be done. You cannot be done with me. You cannot be done with us. You cannot be done with everything. You cannot be done with. I said, watch me. I walked past him. I walked to the elevator. I got in. I pressed the button for my floor. The doors closed. I did not look back. I got to my room. I opened the door. I walked inside. I sat down on the bed. I picked up my phone. I opened the Notes app. I looked at the list. Step 1. Find a new place to live. Step 2. Find a new job. Step 3. Start over. Step 4. Forget him. Step 5. Move on. Step 6. Live. I looked at the list. I read it out loud. Step 1. Find a new place to live. Step 2. Find a new job. Step 3. Start over. Step 4. Forget him. Step 5. Move on. Step 6. Live. I said it again. Step 1. Step 2. Step 3. Step 4. Step 5. Step 6. I put the phone down. I lay back on the bed. I stared at the ceiling. I had done everything. I had done everything I said I would do. I had done everything I planned to do. I had done everything I wrote on the list. I had done everything. But I had not done everything. There was one more thing. There was one more thing I needed to do. I got up. I walked to the door. I opened it. He was not there. I walked down the hall. I walked to the elevator. I got in. I pressed the button for the lobby. The elevator went down. The doors opened. I walked out. The lobby was empty. The desk clerk was not there. The lobby was dark. The lights were off. I walked out of the hotel. I walked down the street. I walked to the cafe. I sat down at the same table. I ordered the same coffee. I sat there and I watched the city. I sat there for a long time. I finished my coffee. I got up. I walked back to the hotel. I walked into the lobby. The desk clerk was back. He looked up at me. He said, your husband left. I said, good. He said, he left a note for you. He handed me an envelope. I opened it. It was a letter. It said, Dear Helen, I am sorry. I am sorry for everything. I am sorry for what I did. I am sorry for what I said. I am sorry for what I put you through. I am sorry for everything. I am sorry for the affair. I am sorry for the lies. I am sorry for the trips. I am sorry for the money. I am sorry for everything. I am sorry. I do not expect you to forgive me. I do not expect you to take me back. I do not expect you to love me. I do not expect anything. I just wanted to tell you that I am sorry. I just wanted to tell you that I made a mistake. I just wanted to tell you that I love you. I just wanted to tell you that I have always loved you. I just wanted to tell you that I will always love you. I just wanted to tell you that I am sorry. I am leaving. I am leaving the city. I am leaving the state. I am leaving everything. I am leaving the house. I am leaving the savings. I am leaving the retirement. I am leaving the car. I am leaving the investments. I am leaving the joint accounts. I am leaving the business. I am leaving everything. I am leaving all of it to you. You can have it. You can have everything. You can have it all. I do not want any of it. I just want you to know that I am sorry. I just want you to know that I love you. I just want you to know that I am sorry. I just want you to know that I love you. I just want you to know that I am sorry. I just want you to know that I love you. Goodbye. Michael, I read the letter. I read it again. I read it a third time. I folded it. I put it in my pocket. I walked to the elevator. I got in. I pressed the button for my floor. The doors closed. I got to my room. I opened the door. I walked inside. I sat down on the bed. I picked up my phone. I opened the Notes app. I looked at the list. Step 1. Find a new place to live. Step 2. Find a new job. Step 3. Start over. Step 4. Forget him. Step 5. Move on. Step 6. Live. I looked at the list. I read it out loud. Step 1. Find a new place to live. Step 2. Find a new job. Step 3. Start over. Step 4. Forget him. Step 5. Move on. Step 6. Live. I said it again. Step 1. Step 2. Step 3. Step 4. Step 5. Step 6. I put the phone down. I lay back on the bed. I stared at the ceiling. I had done everything. I had done everything I said I would do. I had done everything I planned to do. I had done everything I wrote on the list. I had done everything. But I had not done everything. There was one more thing. There was one more thing I needed to do. The one more thing was this. I was not going to take the house. I was not going to take the savings. I was not going to take the retirement. I was not going to take the car. I was not going to take the investments. I was not going to take the joint accounts. I was not going to take the business. I was not going to take anything. I was going to leave it all behind. I was going to walk away from everything. I was going to start over. I was going to build something new. I was going to build something that was mine. I was going to build a new life. I got up. I walked to the window. I looked out at the city. It was bright. The sun was up. The streets were full. The people were moving. The city was alive. I thought about what I was going to do. I thought about where I was going to go. I thought about who I was going to be. I thought about what I was going to do with the rest of my life. I thought about the woman I was. I thought about the woman I used to be. I thought about the woman I wanted to be. I thought about the woman I was going to become. I walked back to the bed. I sat down. I picked up my phone. I opened the Notes app. I looked at the list. Step 1. Find a new place to live. Step 2. Find a new job. Step 3. Start over. Step 4. Forget him. Step 5. Move on. Step 6. Live. I looked at the list. I read it out loud. Step 1. Find a new place to live. Step 2. Find a new job. Step 3. Start over. Step 4. Forget him. Step 5. Move on. Step 6. Live. I said it again. Step 1. Step 2. Step 3. Step 4. Step 5. Step 6. I put the phone down. I lay back on the bed. I stared at the ceiling. I had done everything. I had done everything I said I would do. I had done everything I planned to do. I had done everything I wrote on the list. I had done everything. But I had not done everything. There was one more thing. There was one more thing I needed to do. I got up. I walked to the door. I opened it. I walked out. I walked down the hall. I walked to the elevator. I got in. I pressed the button for the lobby. The elevator went down. The doors opened. I walked out. The lobby was full. There were people everywhere. They were checking in. They were checking out. They were standing in line. They were talking on their phones. They were reading their books. They were doing everything. I walked to the front desk. The desk clerk looked up at me. He said, "Can I help you?" I said, "I need to check out." He said, "Is everything okay?" I said, "Everything is fine. I just need to check out." He said, "I will get your bill." He handed me the bill. I paid it. I walked to the elevator. I got in. I pressed the button for my floor. The elevator went up. The doors opened. I walked to my room. I opened the door. I walked inside. I packed my things. I zipped my suitcases. I looked around the room. It was empty. It was clean. It was nothing. I walked out of the room. I closed the door. I walked to the elevator. I got in. I pressed the button for the lobby. The elevator went down. The doors opened. I walked out. I walked to the front desk. I handed the desk clerk the key. He said, "Thank you for staying with us." I said, "Thank you." I walked out of the hotel. I stood on the sidewalk. I looked at the city. It was bright. It was loud. It was full. It was alive. I did not know where I was going. I did not know what I was going to do. I did not know anything. But I knew one thing. I was not going back. I was not going back to the house. I was not going back to the money. I was not going back to the business. I was not going back to him. I was not going back to any of it. I got in a taxi. I told the driver to take me to the airport. He drove. I sat in the back. I watched the city go by. I did not feel sad. I did not feel angry. I did not feel anything. I just felt free. I got to the airport. I paid the driver. I walked inside. I walked to the ticket counter. I bought a ticket to somewhere. I did not care where. I just wanted to go. I got on a plane. I sat down. I buckled my seatbelt. I looked out the window. The plane took off. The city got smaller. The sky got bigger. The world got wider. I closed my eyes. I fell asleep. I woke up somewhere else. I did not know where. I looked out the window. There was water. There was sand. There was sun. There was everything. I got off the plane. I walked through the airport. I walked outside. I felt the sun on my face. I felt the wind in my hair. I felt the sand between my toes. I had no idea where I was. I had no idea what I was going to do. I had no idea what was going to happen. But I knew one thing. I was free. I walked to a hotel. I got a room. I sat down on the bed. I opened my phone. I had a text from Margaret. It said, "The papers have been signed. He has given you everything. He has given you the house. He has given you the savings. He has given you the retirement. He has given you the car. He has given you the investments. He has given you the joint accounts. He has given you the business. He has given you everything. He has signed it all over to you. It is done." I read it. I did not feel anything. I had a text from Michael. It said, "I signed the papers. I gave you everything. I gave you the house. I gave you the savings. I gave you the retirement. I gave you the car. I gave you the investments. I gave you the joint accounts. I gave you the business. I gave you everything. I just want you to know that I love you. I just want you to know that I am sorry. I just want you to know that I will always love you. I just want you to know that I am sorry. I just want you to know that I love you. Goodbye." I read it. I did not feel anything. I had a text from Diana. It said, "He left me. He said he could not be with me because he loved you too much. He said he ruined everything. He said he was sorry. He said he was leaving. He said he was going away. He said he did not want to see me again. He said he loved you. He said he had always loved you. He said he would always love you. He said he was sorry. He said everything. He said it all. I just wanted you to know. I just wanted you to know that I lost. I lost everything. I lost him. I lost my job. I lost my life. I lost everything. I just wanted you to know." I read it. I did not feel anything. I put the phone down. I looked out the window. The sun was setting. The sky was orange and red and pink. The water was blue. The sand was golden. Everything was beautiful. I sat there for a long time. I thought about everything. I thought about Michael. I thought about Diana. I thought about the house. I thought about the money. I thought about the business. I thought about everything. I thought about the woman I was. I thought about the woman I used to be. I thought about the woman I wanted to be. I thought about the woman I was going to become. I got up. I walked to the bathroom. I looked at myself in the mirror. I looked different. I looked younger. I looked brighter. I looked happier. I smiled. It was a real smile. It was a big smile. It was a happy smile. It was a smile that said I was going to be okay. I walked back to the room. I sat down on the bed. I picked up my phone. I opened the Notes app. I looked at the list. Step 1, find a new place to live. Step 2, find a new job. Step 3, start over. Step 4, forget him. Step 5, move on. Step 6, live. I looked at the list. I read it out loud. Step 1, find a new place to live. Step 2, find a new job. Step 3, start over. Step 4, forget him. Step 5, move on. Step 6, live. I said it again. Step 1. Step 2. Step 3. Step 4. Step 5. Step 6. I put the phone down. I lay back on the bed. I stared at the ceiling. I had done everything. I had done everything I said I would do. I had done everything I planned to do. I had done everything I wrote on the list. I had done everything, but I had not done everything. There was one more thing. There was one more thing I needed to do. I got up. I walked to the door. I opened it. I walked out. I walked down the hall. I walked to the elevator. I got in. I pressed the button for the lobby. The elevator went down. The doors opened. I walked out. The lobby was empty. The desk clerk was reading a book. He looked up at me. He said, "Can I help you?" I said, "No. I just need to go for a walk." He nodded. He went back to his book. I walked out of the hotel. I walked down the street. The sun was setting. The sky was orange and red and pink. The water was blue. The sand was golden. Everything was beautiful. I walked to the beach. I took off my shoes. I walked in the sand. I felt the water on my feet. I felt the wind on my face. I felt the sun on my skin. I felt alive. I walked for a long time. I walked until the sun was gone. I walked until the sky was black. I walked until the stars came out. I walked until the moon rose. I stopped walking. I stood there. I looked at the water. I looked at the sky. I looked at the stars. I looked at the moon. I thought about everything. I thought about Michael. I thought about Diana. I thought about the house. I thought about the money. I thought about the business. I thought about everything. I thought about the woman I was. I thought about the woman I used to be. I thought about the woman I wanted to be. I thought about the woman I was going to become. I thought about the new life I was going to build. I thought about the new home I was going to make. I thought about the new job I was going to find. I thought about the new everything I was going to have. I thought about how I was going to start over. I thought about how I was going to forget him. I thought about how I was going to move on. I thought about how I was going to live. I stood there. I looked at the water. I looked at the sky. I looked at the stars. I looked at the moon. I said out loud, "I am going to be okay." I said it again. "I am going to be okay." I said it a third time. "I am going to be okay." I smiled. I walked back to the hotel. I walked to my room. I opened the door. I walked inside. I sat down on the bed. I picked up my phone. I opened the Notes app. I looked at the list. Step 1. Find a new place to live. Step 2. Find a new job. Step 3. Start over. Step 4. Forget him. Step 5. Move on. Step 6. Live. I looked at the list. I read it out loud. Step 1. Find a new place to live. Step 2. Find a new job. Step 3. Start over. Step 4. Forget him. Step 5. Move on. Step 6. Live. I said it again. Step 1. Step 2. Step 3. Step 4. Step 5. Step 6. I put the phone down. I lay back on the bed. I stared at the ceiling. I had done everything. I had done everything I said I would do. I had done everything I planned to do. I had done everything I wrote on the list. I had done everything. I sat up. I picked up the phone. I looked at the list one more time. I read it out loud. Step 1. Find a new place to live. Step 2. Find a new job. Step 3. Start over. Step 4. Forget him. Step 5. Move on. Step 6. Live. I said it again. Step 1. Step 2. Step 3. Step 4. Step 5. Step 6. I deleted the list. I put the phone down. I lay back on the bed. I stared at the ceiling. I did not need a list anymore. I did not need a plan. I did not need anything. I had everything I needed. I closed my eyes. I fell asleep. I woke up the next morning. The sun was coming through the window. The room was bright. The sky was blue. The water was blue. Everything was beautiful. I got up. I walked to the window. I looked out at the city. It was bright. It was full. It was alive. I thought about everything. I thought about what I was going to do. I thought about where I was going to go. I thought about who I was going to be. I thought about the woman I was going to become. I smiled. I walked to the bathroom. I took a shower. I got dressed. I packed my things. I zipped my suitcases. I looked around the room. It was empty. It was clean. It was nothing. I walked out of the room. I closed the door. I walked to the elevator. I got in. I pressed the button for the lobby. The elevator went down. The doors opened. I walked out. The lobby was full. People everywhere. Checking in. Checking out. Standing in line. Talking on phones. Reading books. Doing everything. I walked to the front desk. I handed the desk clerk the key. He said, "Thank you for staying with us." I said, "Thank you." I walked out of the hotel. I stood on the sidewalk. I looked at the city. It was bright. It was loud. It was full. It was alive. I did not know where I was going. I did not know what I was going to do. I did not know anything. But I knew one thing. I was free. I walked down the street. I walked through the city. I walked past the shops. I walked past the cafes. I walked past the people. I walked until I found a place that felt like home. It was a small apartment. It was on a quiet street. It had a window that faced the ocean. It had a kitchen. It had a bedroom. It had a bathroom. It had everything. I walked in. I looked around. I smiled. I said, "This is it." I signed the lease. I moved in. I unpacked my things. I put my clothes in the closet. I put my books on the shelf. I put my photos on the wall. I made it mine. I sat down on the couch. I looked around the room. It was empty. It was clean. It was nothing. But it was mine. I picked up my phone. I looked at the screen. I did not have any messages. I did not have any calls. I did not have anything. I put the phone down. I sat there. I looked around the room. I smiled. I said out loud, "I am going to be okay." I said it again. "I am going to be okay." I said it a third time. "I am going to be okay." I got up. I walked to the kitchen. I made a cup of coffee. I walked to the window. I looked out at the ocean. I watched the waves. I watched the birds. I watched the boats. I sat there. I drank my coffee. I watched the ocean. I thought about everything. I thought about Michael. I thought about Diana. I thought about the house. I thought about the money. I thought about the business. I thought about everything. I thought about the woman I was. I thought about the woman I used to be. I thought about the woman I wanted to be. I thought about the woman I had become. I smiled. I was not the same woman who got on that plane. I was not the same woman who sat in the middle seat between the onion ring man and the woman with the scarf. I was not the same woman who stood in the airport and watched her husband walk away. I was different. I was new. I was free. I was everything I had always wanted to be. I finished my coffee. I put the cup in the sink. I walked to the door. I opened it. I walked outside. I walked down the street. I walked through the city. I walked until I found a cafe. I sat down at a table. I ordered a coffee. I sat there and I watched the city. I watched the people. I watched the cars. I watched the dogs. I watched the birds. I watched everything. I sat there for a long time. I finished my coffee. I got up. I walked back to my apartment. I walked inside. I sat down on the couch. I picked up my phone. I looked at the screen. I had a text from Margaret. It said, "Everything is finalized. The divorce is complete. You are free." I read it. I smiled. I had a text from Michael. It said, "I know you do not want to hear from me. I know you do not want to talk to me. I know you do not want to see me. But I just wanted you to know that I am sorry. I just wanted you to know that I love you. I just wanted you to know that I will always love you. I just wanted you to know that I am sorry. Goodbye." I read it. I deleted it. I had a text from Diana. It said, "I am sorry. I am sorry for everything. I am sorry for what I did. I am sorry for what I said. I am sorry for everything. I am sorry. I am sorry. I am sorry." I read it. I deleted it. I put the phone down. I sat there. I looked around the room. I smiled. I was free. I was finally free. I was free from him. I was free from her. I was free from everything. I was free. I got up. I walked to the window. I looked out at the ocean. I watched the waves. I watched the birds. I watched the boats. I said out loud, "I am free." I said it again. "I am free." I said it a third time. "I am free." I stood there. I looked at the ocean. I looked at the sky. I looked at the sun. I looked at everything. I smiled. I was going to be okay. I was going to be better than okay. I was going to be the woman I had always wanted to be. I was going to live. I walked away from the window. I walked to the couch. I sat down. I picked up my phone. I opened the Notes app. I started a new list. It was a list of things I was going to do with my new life. I wrote, Step 1, live. Step 2, live. Step 3, live. Step 4, live. Step 5, live. Step 6, live. I looked at the list. I read it out loud. Step 1, live. Step 2, live. Step 3, live. Step 4, live. Step 5, live. Step 6, live. I said it again. Step 1. Step 2. Step 3. Step 4. Step 5. Step 6. I put the phone down. I lay back on the couch. I stared at the ceiling. I had done everything. I had done everything I said I would do. I had done everything I planned to do. I had done everything I wrote on the list. I had done everything. And I was finally, truly, completely free.